We've now got a situation where we've got 10,000 people in a town that gets visited by about 1.5 million every year, predominantly coming down one road. So clearly the problem is, how do we manage those people, A, with our infrastructure, and two, how can our population, how can our residents get a real benefit from that? And they're the two challenges.
We love holiday season, but it was a bit of a downer this year with all the rubbish. It was just
You sort of walk down with the kids and you go for a swim, and it's just everybody is lying there, and there's just rubbish all around them, and people just leave it, you know, just lie amongst it.
It is definitely concerning for me about the way that people are coming here and obviously want to enjoy a beautiful beach and yet seem happy to destroy it at the same time, and that really upsets me a lot actually.
So we're at Main Beach, Byron Bay, and we're doing our weekly beach cleanup of Main Beach. Let's grab some bags. We're going to start down the end here, just near the rocks, and then we'll do, for those of you who haven't done it before, we're going to do 50-metre transects. We'll do 4 50-metre transects. Each bag we only use per transect because we count and sort them all separately. So we started this campaign in May of 2012, and it was basically to look at long-term trends of marine debris, which is our trash that ends up in the ocean. We're using 2 beaches as report sites for that survey, and that's Main Beach, which we're at right now, and 7 Mile Beach, which is at Broken Head. This is a marine park, and we've got a high biodiversity of species here. A lot of them are endangered and critically endangered and threatened. We've got 2 species of oceanic turtle. All turtles around the world are critically endangered or endangered. And a lot of this rubbish ends up in the ocean, and as a result ends up in the belly of a turtle or a whale or a dolphin or a seabird.
disgusting, isn't it? It's very hard for me to understand.
So it's volunteer based, it's run through Positive Change for Marine Life. It's a local Byron Bay based NGO, and we work on campaigns all around the world, shark finning, dolphin hunting, marine debris, which we're doing here in Byron Bay, and we try and work with communities to create viable alternatives. In this case, we're doing the groundwork. We're going to write a scientific report on our findings, which will be released at the end of January this year. And from that, we can work with businesses and council to try and get things like plastic bag bans in town, shift away from plastic packaging, get education programs in place so that people are aware of the impacts that their rubbish has on the beach and on the marine environment. Also a smoking ban on Main Beach, adequate signage letting people know the impacts of marine debris and how they can play their part in ensuring that our trash doesn't make its way to the ocean.
I think they should have no glass for starters, because there's broken glass
Police
all
it.
everywhere.
There needs to be someone, people need to get fined. And possibly, I did see at one beach in Newcastle, they've got garbage bins that they actually put on the beach every, I don't know how many metres, but not just at the end, because people get slack. And so I do think that there needs to be someone, like a ranger, that is policing it.
If a tourist drives from the Gold Coast, comes down on our road, they're using our road, they use our car parks, they then use the ocean, potentially litter on the beach, then have a shower that we provide and then drive home. Council don't get a cent from that, but it obviously costs us. Of course, they could also use our toilets as well. This is a real problem, is that we are finding it really hard to a council point of view, to get money from tourists for being here. Businesses obviously do well, and then of course we can put commercial rates, so we get it as a backhand type of way. But it's certainly never going to be enough to offset the costs of tourists coming.
Yeah, no, I'd be willing to pay a little bit extra if it meant that we could have facilities that were going to keep Byron clean, because it's such a beautiful place and we need to take care of our environment. It's the most important thing in the world, because it is the world.
I think there's tourists, people are coming here, enjoying our beautiful town. The least they can do is just pick up the rubbish and put it in the bin.
And if they're not going to do that, they can get charged or someone else to clean up.
I was reading an article last week and it was about this guy who's, I think his name is Pete Silverman, or Tim Silverman. Anyway, he has started up a campaign, it's called Take 3, and basically if every single person took 3 bits of rubbish off the beach every time they left the beach, then the beaches and the waterways would be a lot cleaner, and it's so simple. And I felt super inspired, so I've been doing that ever since I read the article, and you end up getting more than 3 pieces, of course. And then I was telling a friend yesterday about that, and she told me about this guy Carl who is organising this.
So cigarette butts, guys, glass bottles, tin bottles, plastic bottles, all different sections.
So we take numbers, count each piece and categorise it from the first 50 metres, the second 50 metres, and
in a lot of respects we're not taught to think about the bigger picture. So when we throw something on the beach, or we discard of something, or even when we go to the supermarket and buy plastic bags and plastic bottles, we drink it, we consume it, we throw it out, and we don't think about where it goes.
chips, we can eat the chips, man.
I kind of left with
So there's a lot more of these I've got at home, but these are Cocomunga's, La La Land, Cheeky Monkey's wristbands, and also the backpacker wristbands from all the travel centres. During schoolies, these Guru ones, I can name them, but we probably found about 150 in one cleanup. So they're all at my house now, and what we're hoping to do is phase 2 of this campaign is approach council and these businesses, show them what we found on the beach, and hopefully eradicate all of these wristbands that really there's no point. You can use stamps and have exactly the same effects.
181 cigarette butts in 50 metres.
Well, I think we've got to start with individuals. I think we've got to make sure that we each take responsibility for the messes that we make. But I think it's also really important that council plays a part and makes sure that there are enough rubbish bins and that it makes it easy for people to take action.
The biggest challenge that we face in Byron Bay is that we've traditionally chosen not to have high rises. So when you have high rises, you have a huge increase in rateable properties, and therefore in a sense you can use that money to offset infrastructure. So to a certain point, by deciding that we want to be low key, low rise, we've also therefore low income.
I guess council needs to come up with some sort of plan of action to make sure that Byron's promoted as a beautiful, natural place that it is, and a place which has a really strong community instead of a party town.
Currently, the state government through Destination New South Wales, spending huge amounts of money and looking to spend huge amounts of money marketing areas for visitors. I'd love a state government to match every marketing dollar with an infrastructure offset dollar. That way, they're saying we want people to visit these towns, but we also want to protect the integrity of these towns and the communities in them. So therefore, when the visitors come, they do see a vibrant community, and that community themselves can welcome the visitors knowing that they're gaining because of it. So I think, if we look at raising revenues from visitors, raising revenue from state and federal governments, and perhaps raising revenues from residents within the Shire, we should be able to tackle these problems.
I think we really need to sort of educate people or inspire people to become stewards of the ocean and the environment, and teach them that every single thing they do has an impact.